if you don't have to, if there's a 5% goal for, 25% goal for small business, and if you're bidding a contract as a small business, you make that goal because you are one. So it'd be 100% of the contract would be small business. So that was her question. Does she have to meet an additional goal? No, because you are one. Yes.
You know, in one of their rationales for going ahead and saying that good faith effort no longer worked for DBE was that it costs so much money to do the good faith effort, and it costs so much money for the state to evaluate it, that if we're still doing it for the other acronyms, then it just costs even more, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's why they are looking at all the different processes. And so there may be simple mandates for DBE and UDBE in the future. There aren't yet, but there may be.
Simple mandates across the board saying you have to have it.
But that is not the current situation.
As an advocate yourself, can you explain to us what the real rationale, I mean, what the rationale is here, that in a way that we might understand it? Because we really don't know.
The rationale for
The
what?
whole process just seems so anti-competitive. And, you know, for people that bid competitively, I'm always politically incorrect, so sorry about that. But it seems just an exercise in silliness, quite frankly. I'm sorry.
Most
I have
of,
to say it, you know?
98% of the businesses in the United States are small business.
So, yeah,
And most DBEs and UDBEs and DBBEs are small business. And what they're trying to do is bring more money down to the smaller businesses, the smaller operations. And many of them, like the 8A process with the feds, you graduate out. You know, once you've done a certain number of business and once you've gotten a certain number of contacts, you're no longer an 8A. And so basically it's a way to foster and force more money down to the small guys. And that's the rationale.
But why?
And the legislature,
But why? In a competitive bidding process, why?
to keep mom and pop operations open. And that's basically what they're
Isn't it
aiming at.
legislative? I mean,
Yes, it is
came from
legislative.
Congress, and
Yes.
we have to.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
It's
And
political will, I understand that, but
Right.
it's
Otherwise, everything's Walmart, right? I mean,
Yeah,
well,
and you kind of look at that analogy.
and you can be undercut by the big guys that can just blow all the
no,
small
I know
business.
that, of course, I know that, but at the same time, that's not really what government should be for, ideally.
Yeah, and then if you utilize DBE on your bid documents, that actually the government or the entity, the owner, is actually going to be paying more than if you didn't have it.
Yeah, we pay more for every project
Yeah,
because of
prices
these
are so
things.
escalated.
So it's really pretty, it's just silly on its face. I mean, I understand that rationale, but it's a very superficial one, and it's sweet and cute and all that, but it doesn't really have that much to do with the reality of what real business is. But we've got great opportunities in this
It's
country.
one
We've got
way
great
for the-
opportunities. I'm not thinking,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we've
Yeah.
got great opportunities in this country to move ahead. And it actually hurts the whole more than it brings up the least of these, in my estimation. But that's what it takes.
well, that's the rationale, to force a certain percentage of government spending to the small guys and to the disadvantaged guys. And hopefully they're going to graduate out. We have a lot of small businesses now that are no longer certified small businesses because they have made those contacts and they have made those connections. And they've won some contracts and they're to a point now where they're now beyond small business. So now admittedly, not most of them will do that because of their operations just can't handle that. But it is a way the government has designed to force money to smaller guys. And basically, that's why Caltrans hired 12 of me to help you guys do that, to help you find people, to help you look at the process, navigate the process, and help you get there and help you meet those goals. And admittedly, yes, you're correct. Sometimes it costs you more to do business.
All the time. Because it costs these people more, and then they have to turn around and charge more in their bids, and then you have to pay more for the project because of this. I'm sorry, I know it's politically incorrect, but it's so absurd on its face when we have no money and we're spending the tiny bit of margin we have on these exercises. It's just, and I understand what you guys are saying too, but just, it's tough.
Well,
it's really tough for us that, you know, are working so hard to try to, with no margin,
Yeah.
it's really tough.
Right. And but I can tell you that a lot of our contracts are coming in below engineers' estimates.
They're coming in at
And-
40 to 50% of engineers' estimate, which is exactly my point. There's no profit margin. And when you're giving a brownie points to somebody who maybe isn't as competitive or as qualified in other realms, it's just kind of unfair. So we have to grouch. That's, you know,
Yes, sir.
So we get a general contractor who's be licensed contractor who bids as a prime all the time, be a small business owner, if he's under the 36 million?
You bet. You bet. Oh, yeah. And we have quite a few of those. Yes. Yes. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So the whole program kind of is a deterrent to trying to be successful, because if you hit that brink, then you're out of the loop as far as getting more work.
Well, the brink's pretty high.
Yeah, 36 million over 3 years is pretty high.
Yeah, that's $12 million a year. I'd be that small business.
But I mean, being
But, but yeah, you're right. I mean, but yet, if you then gain enough wherewithal and business and partnerships that you can make more than $12 million a year, you don't need the extra handout. You don't need that extra incentive to, then it's your turn to turn around and go to the next small business and offer them a handout. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build business, and we're trying to make it to work for, bring that small guy up, get him to a point where potentially he's not a small guy anymore.
But one good year with one big project.
Well, that's why it's an aggregate.
Then you have 2 years.
No, that's why it's a 3-year aggregate of 36 million.
You have one good contract for 1 year, 14 million plus, say. And then the next year you don't, but you still, now you're not qualified for that.
No. You are. If you have one great year, say you make $16 million, and then the next 2 years you only make 7, you still are within the aggregate because it's an average.
I've got that. So what I'm saying is you get that one big one, and then you continue on with the next years, but you're just slightly over. But you're not doing as well as you did that 1 year. You know what I mean? So
Well, we have to make that cut somewhere.
So 14 million, I mean, is.
They are talking about 14 million, right? But at this point today, and there's no legislation in the future that I know of, but I know the Department of General Services has been advocating to raise it to 14 million. But at this point, it is 12 million averaged over 3 years. So basically, $36 million in a 3-year time frame. And as 3 years go, you dump the back one, and you go to the next one, you dump the back one. So, yes.
Okay, just the last final thing for me, so I make sure I understand what it is.
Yeah, you got to go dress for your speed dating, don't you? Yeah.
If we want to bid a project but cannot find a DVBE contractor who will bid with us,
That's when you go to DGS and you get a waiver.
but it doesn't matter if we have a waiver, because if one of those general contractors finds that,
I would still talk to the waiver.
our
You
waiver
don't know.
doesn't matter.
You don't know. Maybe they can't find one either. So-
That's just what's so frustrating
Right.
on the Central Coast, because
So if you have a waiver and another contractor gets a DPB,
it doesn't matter.
and you're a lower price with the waiver,
Doesn't
it
matter.
goes
Doesn't matter.
Right. It will go to the responsive bidder who